So this morning, I got some time with Marina Jacoby, and we could just talk forever. Now, let's just face it. If you don't know who she is, go to marinajacoby.com, look at a lot of her videos. She's in the quantum stratosphere. Yeah. Quantum stratosphere. She can talk about things that sometimes I'm like, wow. But today I just paid attention and I was getting a lot of messages. And I, for one, have been told by my guides that I'm not going to be blindsided by any storm I can't see. And no matter what happens, my sea and my land legs are going to be sturdy for all of it because I do the work. And the work means I pay attention to what my team is telling me, what my higher self is telling me, what the me, myself, and I of the God spark self source light is telling me. And it is my gauge of checking out bullshit and checking out something that resonates and checking out something that possibly could be and checking out something that could possibly be but is extremely far-fetched, and I can't get trapped in the far-fetchedness of trying to figure it out. And so many people get in that space when they listen to Marina. And so as I am listening to her, and she's talking about, we have to take action and we have to be in the space where, we say no to being chipped and all these other things. And so Spirit was showing me that it's not just people standing in line to get chipped and then saying no, because there's this mandatory thing that could be occurring. And a chip could be physical, it could be mental, it could be metaphoric here. But we're being chipped every day with the foods that we eat, the air that we breathe, all the metals and the toxins and the chemicals that are in everything and everywhere. We're exposed to them 24/7. And our body does its best to filtrate as much of it till it gets bogged down. Then we have to pay attention. It's the slow drip that's creating the brew. Now, when somebody wants to get you on their team, they're going to give you that slow drip. And next thing you know, you're, how the heck did this just happen? How did I get caught in this web? How did this habit become a challenge? Right? And some of the things you can look back and you can see all the P's and Q's that led up to the moment of explosion and of true awareness. So we always talk about, the world stage is theater. And then we have to say to ourselves, what character am I going to play? And then remember, you can play multiple characters and change the outcome of the play, of the theater, because we have that power to do so. So anyway, we were discussing a lot of this stuff, and Spirit was saying, remember, Sandy, what you've experienced in the last 10 days, the roller coaster of dipping energetics. You had such high hopes, feelings, something was about to be yours, and you had this feeling of it, you were on cloud 9, there's no doubt. A few days later, kaboom. There's a possibility that it's not yours. So the energetics would dip. And when the energetic dipped, old patterns and old thoughts started coming in, and I recognized them, and I stopped, drop, sit, connected with my breath, and was able to flip the energetics. You could feel it just like that, flip. And then the next morning, it was like a total cloud-free day. You could feel the strength in that. So that old pattern, that old syndrome, that old thoughts, those old everything was no longer. This is how we become aware of the vehicle that we are and the power that we hold. Because we can go into a lot of these things of the unknown storm. Which way is it coming? What's it bringing with it? Who's involved? Where am I going to run to? Because there's no contingency or escape route, because you don't know what it is. Is it an earthquake? Is it a tsunami? Is it, the blackening of the sun? Is it an alien invasion? Is it a mandate of this or that? There really can't be a plan, because you don't know what it is that could be coming around the mountain. Because it's going to sneak up on you, and you won't be prepared, and you get blindsided because you're sleepy, you're drowsy, the seven dwarfs, and you don't want to be bothered because you can't wrap your head around it. So again, that takes everybody out way too far in anticipation. Your nervous system is in anticipation of pain, anticipation of being triggered for PTSD, anticipation, because in our DNA we have the PTSD. And so we're feeding that, we're giving all these permission slips for ownership of these types of thinkings. We're just all in. We're all in following this person, all in following that person, all in believing this, all in believing that. When everything is actually changing, and you do not know what your part truly is and how much impact it could actually have to tip the scales, because you're too busy looking at outcoming for the incoming, and you're not realizing that you're taking yourself right off of your energetic cord. So here's the bottom line. You're responsible for you. You're responsible for you. And if during the day all these things take you in different directions to do things for others, for children, for spouse, for job, for obligations, appointments for yourself, whatever it is, but none of it's truly self-nurturing, right? You're going to be pulled in all these different directions till you're just too exhausted to even think about the next step. And everything starts to become an autopilot, and eventually starts to grind on the old systems, making it feel like, I just don't want to do this anymore. And so it's in those moments we want to create change. But what if we could start doing things one thing at a time? Spirit this morning was showing me like a stack of papers on a desk, file after file after file that needs to be worked on, right? And you look at them and you just get overwhelmed. Or you dive in, you finish them, and you swear, I'm never going to let that happen again. Every time a file hits your desk, you go right for it. Now that's how you redesign your manual. you're going to face it as it comes. You're not going to put things off to the 11th hour mentality, as I call it. That's when people will start getting their caffeinated, jumping Java self. I perform better, when I got to run from lightning bolts because I got to perform. So I've got this big paper due. So I'm going to look at it at 11 o'clock at night and it's due at 6 o'clock in the morning. That kind of 11th hour mentality instead of doing a little bit at a time. We have to get this vehicle conditioned to become skilled at any of it. And that takes daily due diligence. And we have to remember everything that we do unto ourselves, for ourselves, we are also helping to do for someone else in the collective. We're also setting an example. I value myself. I value and respect myself. So as you're listening to all these things, and it may be out here in the stratosphere, and it may seem like that's something that happens in the movies. That's not going to happen now, but it could. But what if it could? So you get yourself in this Mexican jumping bean cellular situation where you can't balance or calm anything. And you can't understand something like that because that's never really occurred here before. But things could come that could occur. But if you're doing all of your work, I know for me, I'm going to handle whatever it is in the moment, no matter what it is. Even if that thing is run like hell. But at least I'll know more of what direction I should go in if that's the choice. But I can't know that unless I stop, drop, sit, connect with my breath and bring in that God self-awareness. Turn up the volume on my independent positioning system. That's going to guide me. So anywho, we had a great conversation. I look forward to posting that video for you. In the meantime, I really appreciate it if you'd like, subscribe, share, leave me a comment here. And if you feel like you haven't conditioned yourself and you would like to have a conditioning session, advanced Reiki and zone therapy, excellent, very affordable and excellent. Just bring it all in. Bring it all in. Take all the scattered fractal, everything, bring it all in. Let's get real right here. If you're finding that a lot of your lessons are triggered to PTSD, and that's really technically a metaphor for anything that's causing any kind of trauma, whether it's this degree, or it's up here to this degree, regression work, hypnosis, intuitive healing, advanced Reiki, zone technique, they all are extremely helpful. So you all have been in this marathon and you haven't been conditioning yourself so that you can get in your stride. And I'm here to tell you, get off your tuffet and let's get busy with it. Let's get busy with it. My email is info@embodimentofthesoul. Email me. Tell me what's going on. Let's have a conversation. Let's set up a session. Let's start conditioning. What you condition within yourself, you will condition within your family unit. You will condition within the extended family unit. And you will condition above, below, and all around you through the collective. Step the hell up. What are you waiting for? Step up. Start being the spiritual athlete you came here to be. And that takes conditioning, so that your reactions and your responses are coming from the highest place, so that you're not spilling over and sucking up innocence because you didn't step up to condition yourself. You went out of your lane and you started knocking everybody else over, creating harm on them. Y'all know how I feel about that. That is not acceptable. It's not acceptable. Okay. Spirit saying enough. We'll let that go. So get your spiritual athletic ass emailing me. NOW. Get in the now. All right? Again, like, subscribe, share, leave me a comment. So much love to each and every one of you. See you on the next video.